Hello, welcome to the Marginal Show, the cybersecurity show. Now, there is a huge exploit in the Dead by Daylight game, right? Developers are like, we're not touching this, right? So in this video, I'm gonna break down this development, right? So Dead by Daylight is an online asymmetric multiplayer survival horror game where one player assumes the role of a killer hunting for survivors whose goal is to escape by repairing generators and opening exit gates without being caught and sacrificed by the killer to, a malevolent force called the Entity. So in each match called a trial, the four survivors work together to fix 5 of 7 generators scattered around the map to power the exit gates while avoiding the killer who tries to capture and impale them on hooks. So survivors can use items and environmental tactics like vaulting obstacles or dropping pallets to escape the killer's pursuit. So the killer has unique powers and an aura reading ability to track survivors and prevent their escapes. If only one survivor remains, an escape hatch appears as an alternative exit. Failing to escape results in being sacrificed to the Entity, which feeds the survivors' souls. The game features third-person perspective for survivors and first-person for the killer. So it revolves around tense chases, stealth, teamwork, and strategic use of abilities and items. Dead by Daylight began on Windows in 2016 and has since been released on multiple platforms across, cross-play and cross-progression. So the setting involves a supernatural realm controlled by the Entity, which traps killers, often serial murderers or tragic victims, and forces them to hunt survivors repeatedly in a purgatory-like world. Each character has unique lore and abilities, expanded upon the game's story content. So that's an overview of the game. Now let's go into an overview of an exploit, right? And then we're going to merge them. So in computing terms, an exploit is a method or a piece of code or program that takes advantage of vulnerabilities or security flaws in software, hardware, or system configuration. So these vulnerabilities are weaknesses or bugs that could allow unauthorized actions such as gaining access, escalating privileges, stealing data, or disrupting system operations. So exploits are typically used maliciously to infiltrate and compromise systems, but they are distinct from malware. Rather, they often serve as a delivery mechanism for malware or other attacks. So exploits can cause unintended or unanticipated behavior in system by leveraging these vulnerabilities. So generally, exploits in games are potentially dangerous because of security risks and malware. So many game exploits are distributed as mods, cheats, or fake installers that can carry malware like Trojan, spyware, downloaders, or adware. So these malicious programs can steal personal data, login credentials, and even financial information from players' devices without their knowledge. Cyber criminals exploit popular game mods or cheats to disguise and spread their malware widely, creating a significant risk to players' privacy and security. There can be account theft and financial loss. So exploits often trick users into sharing account credentials through phishing scams or malicious sites offering free in-game rewards. Once attackers gain access, they can hijack accounts, steal in-game assets, or sell accounts on underground markets. So this loss impacts both digital identity and financial assets, especially since many games have valuable in-game items or currency, right? It also takes away from the fairness of the game, right? The game integrity. So exploits, they give players unfair advantages by bypassing game mechanics or taking advantage of bugs, glitches intended by the developers. So this game, basically it breaks the fairness of gameplay and can ruin the experience for legitimate players. As an example, exploits might allow infinite in-game currency, invulnerability, or safe zones where players cannot be attacked, undermining game balance. There's ongoing technical challenges. So defending, against exploits is difficult because exploit developers, constantly find new ways to bypass, security measures. So game engineers work hard to mitigate exploits, but new vulnerabilities and bugs can always emerge. So this cat and mouse game, means exploits remain a persistent threat. There's the broader social and safety concerns. So exploits can also, enable extremist actors or malicious individuals to spread harmful content or coordinate harmful activities within game communities, extending the impact beyond just gameplay into real world harm. Now, that's exploit. That's, the game. Let's put them together. So the Streetwise Streetwise exploit in Dead by Daylight is a widely known bug that allows survivors to gain infinite charges, right, on items such as med kits, flashlights, and toolboxes. So the Streetwise exploit in Dead by Daylight works by allowing survivors to gain infinite charges on their items through a specific interaction involving the perk. Now, basically how it works, the survivor equips the Streetwise perk, which normally increases the depletable charges of an item, whether it's med kits, toolboxes, or flashlights, making them more efficient. During the match, the survivor opens a chest with an item already in their inventory. Then, they then repeatedly swap or cycle the item with the same type of item found in the chest very quickly. So each time this swapping happens, the Streetwise perk unintentionally increases the charges on them, effectively regenerating and stacking them. So this process results in the item's charges becoming effectively infinite, allowing constant use of medkits, toolboxes, or other items without consuming charges. So the exploit can be performed very quickly, reportedly taking about 2 seconds to execute, which makes it highly efficient and game breaking as it lets survivors heal, repair generators, or use items endlessly. So this is a gameplay manipulation of how Streetwise interacts with item charges on swapping and is widely recognized as an exploit in the community, although the developers have not yet disabled the perk temporarily with a kill switch. So the main reasons the developers, the Behavior Interactive, have not issued a kill switch for the Streetwise perk exploit in Dead by Daylight is basically primarily related, on how they assess the severity and criteria for using the kill switch feature. So according to official communication and community discussions, the developers reportedly do not consider Streetwise exploit severe enough to meet the criteria for a kill switch because while it grants infinite item charges and a significant advantage, it does not crash the game or cause the trial to end prematurely, which are typical triggers for kill switching. So kill switches are described by developers as a last resort tool with a checklist of criteria. It is not something that can or should be applied in every case, possibly to avoid overuse or unintended consequences. So there appears to be inconsistency in how kill switches are applied, with some similar or less impactful bugs on other perks or elements being kill switched. So while Streetwise remains active. So this has led to community frustration and speculation that server-side exploits might be treated more leniently compared to killer-side bugs, although this has not really been officially confirmed right now. So some speculation exists that there may be a technical or internal priority, reasons limiting or delaying the use of the kill switch on Streetwise, right? But no clear public explanation has been given. So the community frustration is high, as many see this as a major exploit that effectively functions as a cheat and disrupts fair play. Because it has not been disabled, some players feel encouraged to abuse this exploit due to the lack of developer enforcement or punishment. So Behavior has stated exploiting Streetwise can still potentially lead to bans, but no formal enforcement against it has been clear or widespread. So some suggest that a simple kill switch would solve the problem immediately instead of waiting for a patch or fix. So basically, in short, the Streetwise exploit involves infinite item charge stacking via cycling items through chests, right? With the Streetwise perk granting huge gameplay advantages. So it is acknowledged and abused by the player base, but not yet disabled by the developers due to their criteria for kill switching, causing considerable debate and controversy within the community. So that's what I have for you today. Please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and the like button. I appreciate your viewership. Stay safe and see you on the next video.